लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग हो गई है मेरे ख्याल में अभी। वो एक रिकॉर्डिंग पे भी कर। थैंक यू सबका ज्वाइन करने के लिए। मैं अश्विनी जिंदल ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट एसोसिएशन एंड वॉइस ऑफ सीए आप सबका स्वागत करता हूं। हमारे साथ हमारे आज के फैकल्टी जो आगाज कर रहे हैं इस इनकम टैक्स एक्ट बिल को, रादर बिल को एनालाइज करने के लिए राजेश मेहता जी इंदौर से जुड़े हुए हैं। हमारे आदरणीय सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर संजय अग्रवाल जी, वो भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। नेहा
नमस्कार सबको।
अग्रवाल, दिनेश शर्मा जी और गुरलीन साहनी इन द पैनलिस्ट। और किसी ने अगर पैनलिस्ट में आना है तो वो अपना हैंड रेज कर दें। आज मेहता जी ने भी गुरुजी वाली रिक्वेस्ट की है कि मुझे बंदे नजर आने चाहिए, तो अगर किसी ने आना है तो वो तभी आए अगर उन्होंने कैमरा ऑन रखना है, तो वो अपना हैंड रेज कर दें तो हम उनको पैनलिस्ट में कन्वर्ट कर देंगे। मैं आप सबका इस प्रोग्राम में स्वागत करता हूं जो हमने इनकम टैक्स बिल के ऊपर, ये हमारा पहला प्रोग्राम है, पहला प्रोग्राम इन द सीरीज। तो इन आने वाले टाइम में हम इसके ऊपर काइंड ऑफ सीरीज ही लेके आएंगे कि डिफरेंट वे से आपको हम ये डिफरेंट प्रोग्राम हम लेके आते रहेंगे रिगार्डिंग दी न्यू इनकम टैक्स बिल। जो मेहता जी ने एक वो स्लोगन दिया व्हाट इज न्यू, कि उसमें नया क्या है। जहाँ वो जो कहावत है कि जी बोतल नई है लेकिन शराब पुरानी है, तो ओवरऑल तो ऐसे ही है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट। लेकिन फिर भी हम इनके मुख से देखेंगे कि सिंप्लीफाई करते करते कहीं उन्होंने लैंग्वेज को ऐसा तो नहीं कर दिया कि हमारे फेवर वाली चीजें बाद में पता चले कि वो हाथ से गई और डिफिकल्ट हो गई। और मतलब जो क्लैरिटी थी इन द फेवर ऑफ असेसी, उसको उन्होंने डी क्लैरिफाई कर दिया, ताकि उससे कल को और झगड़े बढ़ेंगे और हमें और दिक्कत होगी। तो इन चीजों को हम देखेंगे और संजय जी को भी रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि जैसे वो काउंसिल में है कि वो सब चीजों को फिर गवर्नमेंट को आगे प्रेजेंट करेंगे, ताकि उसमें जो बिल में अगर कोई खामियां कमियां, जहां अमेंडमेंट अगर हम चाहते थे पुराने एक्ट में कि 15 बीबी सेक्शन है, वो प्रोविजन वो बड़ी खतरनाक प्रोविजन है कि उसको खत्म करें, एटलीस्ट वो नए एक्ट में उसको ना लेके आए या डिफरेंट वे से लेके आए। इन सब चीजों के ऊपर भी हम मतलब एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन बना के संजय जी को देंगे और गवर्नमेंट को भी देंगे, ताकि वो आने वाले बिल में इसको मतलब सारा मॉडिफाई करें। तो जैसे मैंने सुबह भी अनाउंस किया कि अपडेटेड प्रोग्राम में पहले तो हम डे फिक्स कर रहे थे इंस्टेड ऑफ डे। जैसे जैसे हमारी फैकल्टी इसके ऊपर अपना प्रिपेयर करती रहेगी, एनालिस करती रहेगी बिटवीन द टू बिल्स, बिटवीन द एक्ट एंड बिल, जो ओल्ड एंड न्यू, तो हम वैसे ही प्रोग्राम रखते रहेंगे आप सबके लिए। इसके अलावा अभी बैंक ऑडिट जैसे आने वाले हैं, अभी ये तो पता नहीं कितने परसेंट लोगों को आएंगे, लेकिन उसके ऊपर भी एक दो प्रोग्राम हम जल्दी ही प्लान करेंगे बैंक ऑडिट के ऊपर। देन जैसे मैंने पहले भी कहा है जीएसटी ट्रिब्यूनल के ऊपर हम एक मॉक ट्रिब्यूनल टाइप एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं कि हम उसको कैसे अंजाम दें, तो उसके ऊपर भी वर्किंग कर रहे हैं बड़ी जल्दी। उसके ऊपर भी वुमेन डे के ऊपर भी 8 तारीख को प्रोग्राम प्लान कर रहा हूं। मैंने अभी एक दो जगह पे अप्रोच किया है कि स्मृति ईरानी जी को, जहां पंजाब से कोई मिनिस्टर जो वुमेन मिनिस्टर हैं, तो उनको अप्रोच करने के लिए कहा है कि अगर वो हमारे साथ ज्वाइन कर सके तो वुमेन डे के दिन हम आप लोगों की उनके साथ इंटरेक्शन कराने की कोशिश करेंगे। अगर कोई भी वुमेन जो लीडर है वो हमारे साथ ज्वाइन कर जाते हैं तो 8 तारीख को वो भी उनकी कन्वीनियंस के हिसाब से टाइम हम अनाउंस करेंगे। इसके अलावा और भी बहुत प्रोग्राम हम आने वाले टाइम में लेके आएंगे आपके लिए इंटरेक्शन के लिए। मैं स्टार्ट करने से पहले संजय जी को कहूंगा कि वो दो शब्द अपने मेंबरों के साथ शेयर करें।
थैंक यू अश्वनी जी। एज always, Voice of CNC Association comes in the first. So I welcome the speaker of the day, Rajesh Mehta ji. We were there till 2:30, discussing on various clauses in the shoot, and I am continuing because we have to send a presentation to the Lok Sabha Secretariat as we have a select committee meeting on 6th March. So I also welcome Neha Agarwal, Secretary, Joint Secretary of the Voice of CA. I also welcome Dinesh Sharma ji, our former council colleague in the regional council, and Gurneet Sahni ji from the branch of the Jalandhar branch, and the team Voice of CA controlling the control room. Uh, Mehta Saab is always there to deliberate with all the members of the Voice of CA, and we have done excellent job when the changes in the charitable provisions came. And this year also, as we know that a lot of changes are coming in the income tax bill, so dissection or deep dive of the capital gain to the extent possible, I think Mehta ji will continue, and I will like to take a leave, and I will rejoin after some time because we have to finalize the uh, PowerPoint presentation as well as material. So राजेश भाई आपके हाथ में है, और योगेश
Yes.
रांका जी को भी, बांका जी को भी वेलकम for joining, and once again please note down the suggestion if at all, Neha, if Rajesh bhai is making, so that when the bigger presentation goes from ISOCA or from the issue, then we take care of all those provisions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thank you, Jugesh Manka ji, for joining
Yes,
from
sir.
Odisha, Bhubaneswar, and Raman Seth ji from Chandigarh, and all the members. अब संख्या भी भर के काफी हो गई है, तो मैं आप सबका एक बार फिर से स्वागत करता हूं। मैं नेहा को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो आज का जो टॉपिक है, जैसे हमने कहा कि सीरीज वाई में आज हम कैपिटल गेन कवर करने जा रहे हैं कि व्हाट इज न्यू इन द कैपिटल गेन जो नए बिल में प्रपोज्ड है। तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा नेहा से कि नेहा जी हमारे राजेश मेहता जी जो आज के हमारे फैकल्टी हैं उनको इंट्रोड्यूस कराएं, देन वी विल प्रोसीड फॉर द प्रोग्राम।
थैंक यू राजेश सर की एक खासियत है, आप उनको कभी भी फोन करो कोई भी टेढ़ी मेढ़ी क्वेरी पूछने के लिए, ही ऑलवेज मेक्स एन एफर्ट टू फाइंड द आंसर फॉर यू। आई वेलकम you sir, I would quickly like to introduce him. He is a practicing CA at Indore since more than 30 years. He has held various positions at AIFTP. He's a renowned DT speaker across India on issues of TDS, TCS, capital gain, religious and charitable trust, ICDS, etc. at various branches of ICAI, Tax Bar Association, AIFTP, business and trade associations and online platforms. He played a key role in ICAI's technical guide publication on reports on religious and charitable trust audit under Income Tax Act. His articles and views on income tax provisions are frequently published in tax newsletters, magazines, and online tax forums. Awarded by the then Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Sri Haridev Joshi, and Governor of Rajasthan, Sri O.P. Mehra, on achieving rank in merit list of Rajasthan Higher Secondary Board examination in 1985, received awards at education and debate competitions, and awarded by the then Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Sri Shiv Charan Mathur. His achievements are beyond par. We are very lucky at Voice of CA to have you time and again. आप हमारे को अपनी नॉलेज शेयर करते हैं, उसके लिए थैंक यू सो मच सर। थैंक यू फॉर मेकिंग आउट द टाइम फॉर अस टुडे। राजेश सर, ओवर टू यू।
Yes.
ओवर टू राजेश सर। सर
Okay.
हाँ जी।
Thank you, CA Neha Agarwal ji, respected Central Council member CA Sanjay Agarwal ji, CA Ashwini Jindal ji, Raman Seth ji, Yogesh Banka ji, Dinesh Sharma ji, and all the respected professional colleagues of today's webinar on the issues in new income tax bill regarding the capital gain provisions. So, dear friends, there are some of the changes in the new income tax bill regarding capital gain provisions, and most of the earlier provisions are as it is there in the new income tax bill, but section numbering has been changed, proviso has been incorporated by way of a subsection or by way of a table or in the schedule. But notwithstanding word was at so many places, so this word has been replaced by the word irrespective, and proviso explanation has been removed from this new income tax bill, and to make it easier and easy to understand, the language has also been tried to be simplified. So dear friends, there is provision of joint development agreement taxation under the capital gains. So earlier in the Income Tax Act 1961, there is section 45 subsection 5A. So this section is applicable to the joint development agreement. Whenever any landowner enters into to develop his land by way of a developer, then this, if there is a specified agreement and the landowner sell his ratio of the property received by him only after issue of the completion certificate, then he can take the advantage of the section 45(5)(a). In that case, he is required to pay income tax liability, capital gain tax liability only when he get the possession. If the landowner sell his share just before or at any time before the issue of the completion certificate, then he will be out of provisions of section 45(5)(a), and then he will have to pay tax at the time of handing over of the possession of the property to the flat buyers or to the developer. So, what is the sale consideration in the hands of the landowner regarding the joint development agreement? So in the assessment year 2024-25, there was one small amendment, but an important amendment regarding the full value of the consideration. Earlier to assessment year 2024-25, what was the full value of consideration? Any amount received by the landowner in cash and received in kind was the full value of the consideration. So any amount received by way of check, by way of online RTGS was not treated as a full value of consideration under section 45(5)(a). So there was an amendment in assessment year 2024-25. So by this amendment, they had made an amendment that if there is any cash or check or online RTGS payment, all these will be forming part of the full value of the consideration as well as the full fair market value, stamp duty value of the property received in kind. So he may receive the flats or he may receive the commercial shops, etc. from the developer. So again, I am repeating that full value of consideration is cash, check, RTGS, and anything received in kind, that is a flat or commercial shops. Now, section 49 subsection 7 is earlier. So in this new income tax bill, this 45 subsection 5A is numbered as clause 67 subsection 14. So now it is renumbered as clause 67 and subsection 14. And in the new income tax bill, there is clause 73 and at the table there is serial number 20. So earlier similar section was there, section 49 subsection 7. So section 49 subsection 7 says that whenever the landowner sell his portion received by him in future, what will be the cost of acquisition of that portion? So 49 subsection 7 as well as new income tax bill clause 73 serial number 20 of the table under the clause number 73. It says full value of consideration treated under section 45(5)(a) will be the cost of acquisition. So generally, whenever you sell any flat or any commercial building which was received by you from the developer, the stamp duty value of the property received by you will be treated as cost of acquisition. But section 49 subsection 7 says full value of consideration treated under section 45(5)(a) will be cost of acquisition. So whatever cash you have received, whatever check you have received, whenever you will sell the property, then all these will be treated as a cost of acquisition. Say for example, the landowner has handed over his land to the developer. Developer has given him rupees 1 crore as a check and 1.5 crore 2 flats have been received by him, which are valued at rupees 1.5 crore. So 1 crore check received and 1.5 crore flats have been received. And after 2 years of the completion, the landowner sell his share of flats. So flats were purchased by him, flats were allotted to him at a cost of rupees 1.5 crore. After 2 years, he is selling these flats at a sale value of rupees 3 crore. So what will be the capital gain? 3 crore minus 1.5 crore equal to 1.5 crore. But as per section 49 subsection 7 or as per new clause 73 serial number 20 of that table under the clause 73 of the new income tax bill, only profit will be there 50 lakh rupees, because full value of consideration will be the fair market value of the flat as increased by the amount received by way of check or RTGS. So this is the anomaly in the new income tax bill also, because whenever you sell any property, any cash received was already taxed by you and you are enjoying that money. That is not investment. That is not your capital asset. You have invested the money in your FDR or lying cash in hand with you. So that cannot be cost of capital asset. But as per section 49 subsection 7, there is some error. So this new income tax bill also needs to be rectified. Otherwise, this error will create some litigation in future, because government may come out with any retrospective amendment to delete this amount received by way of check or RTGS or cash. And in the section 45(5)(a), cash word is also mentioned there. But as we all know that as per section 269 SS, anyone who is selling any immobile property cannot receive cash of rupees 20,000 or more. So anyone who is the seller of immobile property can receive cash of rupees 19,999 only. If he receive more than 20,000 or 20,000 or more cash, then he may have to face penalty under section 271D. So cash cannot at all be received. And this is the anomaly in this 49(7) and clause 73. So I think this will be removed whenever our suggestions go to the government. Then another amendment in this new income tax bill is there. Definition of agriculture income has been amended. In this definition, one major amendment is there. They have mentioned that what will be the agriculture income? As per earlier Income Tax Act provision, section 2 clause 1 capital A defines the agriculture income. And new clause 2 subsection 5 of this new income tax bill defines the agriculture income. So one new subclause has been added under this new income tax bill, which is very important and may create some litigation in future also, which says, and many of the farmers may oppose this. So government will certainly take note of this error, I think. In this new definition of the agriculture income under clause 2 subsection 5 or subclause 5, it is mentioned that income arising from transfer of land, which is urban agriculture land, that will be treated as the agriculture income. So any of the which is the rural agriculture land, urban land is already liable for capital gain tax. Urban land which is beyond the certain municipal which is situated within the certain municipal limits and which is situated within certain limits, and the population is beyond or more than some certain figure like 10,000, 1 lakh or 10 lakh. But any of the land which is beyond certain limit, that is called the rural agricultural land. So whenever we sell the agricultural land, there is no column in the income tax return. There is no requirement to show that sale of agricultural land in the income tax return forms. And it is even out of purview of the exempted income. It is not a capital asset. So its sale proceeds is not required to be shown anywhere in the income tax return, anywhere in the tax calculation. So there is an amendment in this new income tax bill which says that as per section 2 subsection 5, the definition of capital asset will definition of agriculture income will include sale price income received from transfer of land, which is rural agricultural land, which is situated within certain, beyond a certain municipal limit. So that is called the rural agricultural land. So if, say, for example, any person who is a farmer selling his rural agricultural land for rupees 5 crore, it is not liable for capital gain tax. But as per this new definition of agriculture income, this 5 crore will be treated for the purpose of rate purposes. So his slab rate may increase due to this 5 crore only in the year in which he sells the property. So in my opinion, it should be treated as an exempted income under the new clause 11 of the income tax bill 2025. So this amendment, in my opinion, needs to be brought into the new income tax bill. Then there is a provision in the present Income Tax Act, Section 48, Clause 2, and similar new clause in the new income tax bill is there, Clause 72, subsection 3, Clause A. So under this 72, 3A in the new income tax bill, there is a provision that if any of the person has incurred any interest for the purpose of his any immobile property which has not been claimed as deduction under section 24 or any other section of under chapter 6A, like under section 80EA. So if home loan interest or any interest on house property has not been claimed as exemption under 24 or chapter 6A of the similar thing is there in the new income tax bill, that amount which has not been claimed as deduction will be treated as cost of acquisition when you are selling that property. So as per this section 48 clause 2, you must keep in mind that any unutilized, unclaimed interest incurred on any house property, whether it is commercial, whether it is residential, whether it is self-occupied or let out, unclaimed interest, because you can claim interest only up to the rental income if the property is let out. And if you are opting for 115 BSE, then home loan interest deduction is not allowed. So such home loan interest you can add to the cost of the property as per the provisions of section 48 clause 2 or new clause 72 subclause 3. Then section 50C. 50C has always been a issue of litigation in income tax. Since when it has been introduced, every year there is litigation regarding section 50C. However, under this new income tax bill also, there is no such major amendment regarding 50C. So I think litigation will go on because under the new income tax bill, this is at clause 78. Earlier it was section 50C. So there are some judgments of ITAT Jaipur, ITAT Delhi, which says, ITAT says that if any of the person has sold any immobile property, say any person has sold a plot of rupees 1 crore, stamp duty value is 1.5 crore, but transaction value check only received of rupees 1 crore. So whenever the person will, the individual or HUF has purchased another residential house of rupees 1 crore. At the time of assessment, the assessing officer will treat the sale consideration as rupees 1.5 crore because he will apply the section 50C. But the buyer will say, the landowner who has purchased the another house, he will say that I have only rupees 1 crore in my hand. So I cannot invest more than 1 crore. So I will not pay any tax on 50 lakh because I have not received any money. How I can invest? And I do not want to take any loan also. So there is a dispute, but there is judgment of ITT Jaipur in the case of Gyanchand Batra. In that judgment, ITT Jaipur has stated that if any and there is judgment of ITT Delhi in the case of Sunil Miglani. In these cases, ITT has told that if there does not remain any net consideration after investing in the new property, then section 50C will not come into play because section 50C says that for the purpose of section 48, So in these judgments, ITAT had told that Section 48 comes into play only when there is any remaining capital gain. If the whole of the sale consideration has been invested in purchase of the new residential property, then there is no capital gain remaining under Section 54F. So Section 48 will not come into play. In these cases, Section 50C will not be applicable. And another thing, and there is one more important thing, there is whether the Section 50C is applicable to the leasehold property. Say, for example, in Indore, there is Indore Development Authority. In Jalandhar, I think there would be Jalandhar Development Authority. In Ludhiana, there will be Ludhiana Development Authority. Every city has its own development authority constituted by the state government. So always the development authorities give the plots to the landowners on 30 years lease. So Bombay High Court held that in the case of CIT versus Greenfield Hotels, Bombay High Court held that Section 50C is not applicable to the leasehold property. Because they told Section 50C says that any land or building, Section 50C nowhere use the word right in land or building. So leasehold property is not the freehold property, is not the land or building. It is the right in land or building. You are having lease right only. You do not have any freehold right. So Bombay High Court in case of CIT versus Greenfield Hotel have held that it is only the leasehold right. So Section 50C will not be applicable to the leasehold property. But similarly, there is ITT judgment of Mumbai in case of Hitex Products Private Limited, Atulji Puranik and ACIT versus Everest India Limited, Mumbai Tribunal. But there is a contrary judgment of Rajasthan High Court. In the case of Ramjilal Meena versus ITO of the year ITA number 53/2018. In that judgment,
मेहता जी एक मिनट, वो रोहित जी भी आ गए हैं हमारे साथ। इनका भी आइडिया था कि हम चैप्टर वाइज करें। रोहित कपूर जी और केश सोनी जी भी हमारे साथ लुधियाना से। रोहित कपूर जी अमृतसर से। He is also expert in the income tax, rather handling very big cases of the income tax. And और हमारे साथ जीवन खन्ना जी जो बाद में ज्वाइन किए हैं, मैं उन सबका भी स्वागत करता हूँ सी एसोसिएशन की तरफ से। काइंडली सर प्लीज कंटिन्यू। अभी रोहित जी का भी नेक्स्ट इनसे डिस्कस करके तो मैं जल्दी ही अनाउंस करूंगा कि नेक्स्ट सेशन हमने किसके ऊपर रखना है, कौन से चैप्टर के ऊपर।
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So Rajasthan High Court have told that Section 50C is also applicable to the leasehold right. If it is not made applicable to the leasehold property, then most of the property in India will come out of the provisions of Section 50C. And the Rajasthan High Court has also discussed the judgment of Greenfield Hotel Bombay High Court and then told that leasehold right is equal to land or building and it should be treated under Section 50C also. But there is a recent judgment of ITT Delhi in case of Shivdeep Tyagi Ghaziabad versus ITO. The judgment is dated 18th June 2024 and this judgment was based on again ITT Delhi judgment Noida Cyber Park Private Limited 123 taxman.com 213. In this judgment also ITT has held that leasehold right cannot be covered under Section 50C because it is not a freehold and they have referred to Section 54G. In that case, there is a 54D. In case of 54D, they have under this Section 54D, right in land or building word is mentioned. So ITAT has told that similar language is not there under Section 50C. Right in land or building is there under Section 54D, but right in land or building word is not there under Section 50C. So they have held that leasehold right is not covered under 50C. So under this new income tax bill, under clause 78 also, land or building word is only there. Right in land or building also not there. So we may advise, but subject to litigation at higher level. Our client may have to face litigation, and whatsoever will be the decision, what the court will follow, they may follow the either Bombay High Court, or they may follow either the Rajasthan High Court, or if the jurisdictional High Court is there, then or any other, if other than jurisdiction High Court, then beneficial provision which is applicable to the assessee. So then another very commonly used section in our capital gain is the section 54. And the new clause is 82 under the new income tax bill 2025. So 82, there is no much changes. Same thing is redrafted here. Only the language has been made some simpler, and all the things which were there under section 54 has been incorporated in the new clause 82 of the new income tax bill 2025. Because you will find here under this new clause, they have also mentioned that proof of deposit of capital gain account scheme has to be furnished along with the return of income. So earlier in the section 54, 54F, 54B, there was provision that if the capital gain amount is not utilized up to the due date of filing of the return of income, then such amount has to be deposited in the capital gain account to claim the exemption under section 54, 54B or 54F, and has to be utilized within a period of 2 years or 3 years as the case may be. So earlier there was a wording in those section 54, 54F that capital gain account proof has to be submitted along with the return. Similar language has been used in the new clause 82. So in my opinion, nowadays, we do not attach any such proof in the IT return, because IT return are always annexureless. No annexure is there, no attachment is there, neither any proof of any investment or any deduction exemption is required to be made. But in the return of income, there is a column under which account you have deposited the money. Capital gain account, account number has to be mentioned, in which bank you have opened the account, and how much amount you have deposited in the capital gain account, that has to be mentioned in the return of income. So the language needs to be rectified under clause 82 or other clauses wherever capital gain account word has been used by them. Then some of the case laws which are prevailing regarding section 54, 54 EC, 50C and 54F, those case laws I think will continue to be applicable to the new provisions also, because there is no much major changes under this 54, 54F or 54B or 54 EC. So say for example, if any of the person has sold a residential house, he has received amount of rupees 2 crore, and he has capital gain of rupees 1 crore out of this sale value of rupees 2 crore. So 1 crore capital gain, he has invested a whole 2 crore in purchase of the gold. And for getting exemption under the old section 54 or new section, new clause 82 of the new income tax bill, the assessee has taken a home loan from bank of rupees 1 crore. He has invested this 1 crore in the new property, and he has claimed exemption under clause 82 of new income tax bill or section 54 of the old income tax act. So assessing officer told that since you have not invested the sale value in purchase of the new property, you have purchased the new property out of the loan, and you have purchased the gold ornament out of the actual sale value. So you will not be allowed the exemption under section 54 or under the new section, new clause 82 of the new income tax bill. So whether the assessing officer is right? No. There are some judgment. There is judgment of Kayasa Srinivas in Hyderabad ITAT, Kapil Singh Agrawal, Delhi ITAT, Sumti Gatpuri, Hyderabad Tribunal. In these cases, ITAT has held that any of the money whatsoever has been invested in purchase of the new residential house, the intention of the law is only to invest the money in purchase of the house. From where you have arranged this money, out of the home loan or the loan from your relative, whatsoever source is there, that is not to be, it is not required to be seen. Then under section 54, there were some amendments during last 2 years. One amendment was there from the Finance Act 2019, that if any of the assessee has capital gain of rupees 2 crore, then he can purchase 2 houses. Otherwise, normally under section 54, only 1 house can be purchased to claim the exemption under section 54. But if the capital gain is not more than rupees 2 crore, then only up to the capital gain of rupees 2 crore, he can purchase 2 houses during his lifetime. This 2 house relaxation is not available except once in lifetime. Then another amendment from the assessment year 2024-25 was that if the capital gain is more than 10 crore, then excess amount will be ignored for the purpose of section 54 exemption. Say for example, the assessee has capital gain of rupees 12 crore. He has invested rupees 12 crore capital gain in purchase of the new property. So he will be allowed exemption of rupees 10 crore only even if he has invested rupees 12 crore in purchase of the new residential house. Because from assessment year 2024-25, they have told under section 54, and similar provision is continuing under this clause 82 of the new income tax bill, that amount in excess of rupees 10 crore will be ignored. It means on the 2 crore, the assessee is compulsorily required to pay the capital gain tax at the rate of 12.5%. Then section 54B. Any individual and HUF having capital gain from sale of the agricultural land. So similar provision regarding as per the 54B is there in the new income tax bill. Clause 83 is there in the new income tax bill. And section 54EC. So similar provision under the new income tax bill is clause 85 in the new income tax bill. So section 54EC is applicable only in case of the capital gain arising from land or building. If any of the capital gain is arising out of a long-term sale of the shares or long-term capital gain arising out of sale of gold ornaments, etc., then 54EC cannot be availed. 54EC is applicable only in case of the sale of land, capital gain arising out of sale of land or building or both. Similar provision under clause 85. And again here one question may come because land or building word is there. So if anyone is selling the rights in leasehold property, whether he can claim exemption under section 54EC, in my opinion, he can claim if he has shown it as his immobile property, but that may be subject to litigation because here the word mentioned is only land or building. So this litigation, this ambiguity, I would advise the government that they should come out with the amendment that right in land or building word is also mentioned here under section 54EC. So any person selling the leasehold property can also avail the exemption of section 54EC without any litigation. Otherwise, he may have to face litigation. Then under section 54EC, 6 calendar month, clear calendar month must be allowed to the assessee. Say for example, the assessee has sold the land or building on 15th February 2025. So 6 months expire on 15th August. But as per judgment of ITAT Kolkata in the case of Kartik Chandra Mandal, ITA number 322/Kolkata/2018. In this judgment, ITAT has held that there should be available clear 6 months. So up to 31st August, the assessee can purchase the bonds under for the purpose of claiming exemption under section 54EC. And one thing to be noted under this new income tax bill, the options available for investment are not there, that will be notified by the CBDT. So earlier in the section 54EC, certain bonds were mentioned, NHAI, REC bonds were mentioned under 54EC, but under the new income tax bill, reference to NHAI bond or REC bonds has been done away, has been removed, and they have told that we will notify the certain bonds for the purpose of section 54EC. Then section 54F. Similar provision under the new income tax bill is under the clause 86 of the new income tax bill, equal to section similar to section 54F. So under this 54F, there was a provision from assessment year 2024-25 that if the sale value of the property is exceeding 10 crore and the amount invested in purchase of the new residential house is more than 10 crore, then amount in excess of 10 crore will have to be ignored to claim the exemption under section 54F. It means exemption only up to 10 crore will be allowed under section 54F by way of investment in new residential house. So similar provision is there in the new income tax bill also under this clause 86 of the new income tax bill. Then whether under section 54F, construction can be commenced before sale of the old property. Say for example, the assessee has sold the property in the month of December 2024. And he had started the construction of another residential house in the year January 2023. The construction of the property was completed in the month of April 2025. So assessing officer told that whatsoever amount has been invested before sale of the old house means you have sold the property in December 24. So you have received the money in December 24 or thereafter. So whatsoever amount you have invested before December 24, that will not qualify for exemption under section 54F. But there are some judgments in favor of the assessee. In the case of Srimati Shantaben P. Gandhi, Gujarat High Court, CIT versus H.K. Kapoor, Allahabad High Court, and CIT versus J.R. Subramaniam Bhatt, Karnataka High Court, and so many other judgments also. Delhi High Court, CIT versus Bharti Mishra, other Madras High Court, CIT versus R. Srinivasan. In this case, high courts have held that commencement of construction can be started before sale of the original asset. But construction should complete within 3 years from the end of from the date of sale of the property. So the property has been sold in December 24. So construction must complete within 3 years means December 27. So commencement date is not relevant, date of completion is relevant. So these have been held in these judgments. Then whether the construction is not completed within 3 years due to some or any other reason. He sold the property in December 24. Construction should have been completed up to December 2027. But due to financial problems, the construction could not be completed, but a substantial amount has been invested in construction of the new house. Whether he will be denied exemption? No, his exemption will not be denied, but amount invested within 3 years will be allowed for the purpose of exemption under section 54F. There is a judgment of Karnataka High Court in case of CIT versus Sambandam Uday Kumar, 2012, 19, taxman.com 17, and another judgment of Madras High Court in the case of Sardarmal Kothari, 302 ITR 286. So if the intention of the assessee is to construct the residential house, but due to some genuine reason he could not construct, then all the amount invested within 3 years should be allowed as exemption under section 54F. Then so these judgments will continue to be applicable under the new income tax bill also, because nothing contrary has been given in the new income tax bill regarding these provisions. Whether new asset can be in the name of wife? Yes. If assessee wants to purchase, he can purchase in the name of the wife. But this may be subject to litigation. So far possible, do not purchase. But due to any reason, if you are purchasing in the name of wife, on the basis of judgments of Punjab and Haryana High Court, in case of CIT versus Gurnam Singh, Madras High Court, CIT versus V. Natarajan, and Delhi High Court in case of CIT versus Kamal Vahel. In this judgment, they have held that you can invest in the name of wife for the purpose of claiming exemption under section 54F. And this may be claimed similarly under clause 86 of the new income tax bill. But what will happen? We don't know, because under the new income tax bill also, It is not mentioned that you can purchase the property in the name of wife for the claiming exemption 54F. This is only on the basis of exemption and principle of natural justice, etc. Then capital gain account scheme. So capital gain account scheme provision are also continuing under this new income tax bill. Under this capital gain account scheme, the assessee has to open the capital gain account within the due date of filing of ITR, that is 139 subsection 1 due date. Under this new income tax bill, due date is mentioned under section 263 of the income tax bill. So whether the capital gain account can be opened even after the due date of filing of the return of income. However, actually there cannot be any such relaxation, but there are some judgments which have hold that the capital gain account can be opened even after due date of 139(1). There is a judgment of CIT versus K. Ramchandra Rao 2015 56 taxman.com 163 Karnataka High Court. In this, it has been held that assessee has invested in construction of the residential house. So exemption under section 54F can be allowed even if amount has not been invested under the capital gain account. But we should advise always to deposit the capital gain account in the capital gain account. But if due to genuine error, the assessee could not deposit but invested in purchase of the new house or construction of the new house, then he may be allowed exemption as per this judgment of CIT versus K. Ramchandra Rao, Karnataka High Court. Then there is another judgment of CIT versus Miss Jagrati Agrawal, 2011 339 ITR 610 Punjab and Haryana High Court. In this case also, High Court has held that if the amount in the capital gain account has been deposited beyond 139(1) due date, but within 139 subsection 4, it means before 31st December, but after 31st July, but before 31st December, if the amount is deposited in the capital gain account, even though exemption will not be denied. So similar benefit can be or similar case law is applicable in the new income tax provisions, new income tax bill. Then if the capital gain account is there, the assessee is aged about 95 years. He has deposited 5 crore in the capital gain account in the month of July 2025. But suddenly in the month of December 25, the assessee has deceased. Then after death, whether legal year of the assessee is required to invest in purchase of the residential house or in construction of the house? No. The legal year is not required to make compliance of the capital gain account. They can freely use this money for whatsoever reason. There is a CBDT circular of circular number 743, 6th May 1996. In this judgment, CBDT has clearly stated that in case of death of the assessee, capital gain account scheme amount deposited is not required to be invested and the legal year can use that money for any other reason. So similar, this judgment, this circular will again continue to be applicable under the new income tax bill also, because in the new income tax bill, they have mentioned that all the earlier circular, all the earlier notification will continue to be applicable unless otherwise stated, unless anything otherwise is stated in the new income tax bill. All the old circular will continue to be applicable to the new provisions of the new income tax bill. If the capital gain account amount has not been utilized within 3 years, say for example, the assessee had deposited money in July 2025. He could not utilize that money even up to July 2028. So within 3 years from the sale of the property, he could not utilize. Then when the period of 3 years expire, in that year, that amount will be treated as long-term capital gain. Say for example, he has deposited capital gain of rupees 1 crore. Under section 54, but within 3 years he could not purchase or construct any new house. Then in financial year 2028-29, in that ITR, this amount will be treated as long-term capital gain. and this 1 crore will be liable for tax at the rate of 12.5%. Then provisions regarding section 112, 112 and 111A tax rate of long-term and short-term capital gain. Similar provision are there in the new income tax bill. Section 112 is similar to new clause 197 in the new income tax bill. So any individual and HUF, if he wish to opt for indexation, he may opt for indexation in the new income tax bill also. If there is lower rate of tax even after applying the index cost. If there is higher tax, then he may opt for lower tax at the rate of 12.5% without indexation. Then section 112A, amount on sale of STT paid securities, etc. Then he will be required to pay tax at the rate of 12.5% over and above the amount of rupees 1.25 lakh. So because 1.25 lakh is the basic exemption, this is new clause 198 of the new income tax bill also. Then section 111A, short-term capital gain tax on sale of STT paid or equity oriented funds, etc. So 20% tax is there. Similar provision is there under the new income tax bill under clause 196 of the income tax bill. Then what is the capital asset? So whenever we start the calculation of capital gains, first of all, the asset should be capital asset. If the asset is not a capital asset, then it will be out of purview of the provisions of capital gains. So any personal use car, it is not a capital asset. So earlier in the Income Tax Act, there is section 2 clause 14, which define capital asset. Under the new income tax bill, the definition of capital asset is given under section 2 under clause 2 sub clause 22. So similar provision is there. Personal use car is still also not a capital asset. Rural agricultural land which is situated beyond certain municipal limits, then it is also out of purview of the capital asset. If the agricultural land is situated within certain municipal limits and population is more than 10,000, 1 lakh or 10 lakh, then it will be treated as a urban agricultural land and it will be treated as a capital asset. So if any of the person has sold the rural agricultural land more than the less than the stamp duty value. Say, for example, the stamp duty value of the rural agricultural land situated beyond certain municipal limit is 5 crore. But the farmer has sold the rural agricultural land for rupees 3 crore only. So stamp duty value for the purpose of 50C is 5 crore. But since it is a rural agricultural land, it is not a capital asset. So section 50C will not be applicable. Section 50C is applicable only on the capital asset. So the farmer can sell the rural agricultural land and without attracting provisions of section 50C. So similar provision are there under this new income tax bill also. So there is nothing to worry about for this issue. And similarly, if the farmer purchases or anyone purchases the rural agricultural land as at less than stamp duty value, say for example, stamp duty value is 5 crore. The land has been purchased for rupees 3 crore only. So if it is urban agricultural land, then as per section 56 subsection 2 clause 10, it will be liable for income from other sources. 2 crore will be treated as deemed income because it is purchased at less than stamp duty value. But if it is the rural agricultural land, then as per section 56 subsection 2 clause 10, it is not liable for section 56. So it will be out of purview of the capital gain tax income from other sources. So similar provision is there in the new income tax bill also. Then forfeiture of advance money. If anyone has sold any immobile property made into an agreement, but that agreement was not finally executed. Say, for example, the transaction was of rupees 5 crore. the seller has received 1 crore as an advance. But the buyer did not come, so the seller forfeited amount of rupees 1 crore. So whether this 1 crore is to be reduced from the cost of acquisition? No. Earlier, under Section 51 of the Income Tax Act, it has to be reduced from the cost of acquisition. But from the assessment year 2015-16, there has been introduction of Section 56, subsection 2, clause 9. So similar provision is there under the new income tax bill. In this provision, it has been stated that if any of the amount has been forfeited towards sale of any immobile property, that amount will be treated as a income of the assessee under Section 56, subsection 2, clause 9. So similar provision is there under the new income tax bill under the head income from other sources. But if the person has sold the rural agriculture land and he has forfeited the amount towards rural agriculture land, then whether this forfeited amount towards the rural agriculture land will be treated as income from other source? No, because rural agriculture land is a capital asset, is not a capital asset. Only urban agriculture land is a capital asset. So any amount forfeited towards sale of rural agriculture land is out of purview of income from other sources under the new income tax bill also. Then Section 55, subsection 2, clause A. And the provisions similar to 55 are there in the new income tax bill under clause 90 of the new income tax bill. This defines the cost of acquisition. So what will be the cost of acquisition in case of if there is widening of the municipal limit? So the farmer is thinking that his agricultural land is the rural agricultural land. Say for example, in the Jalandhar, the land of the farmer is situated beyond 8 kilometer from the end of the municipal limit. It is situated at the 9th kilometer. But due to widening of the municipal limit, that rural agriculture land became the urban agriculture land. So in the year 2024, this became the urban agriculture land. So now it is liable for capital gain tax. So whether the sale value will be treated as full taxable? No. The date on which this rural agriculture land became the urban agriculture land, the amount of capital gain before the conversion of this rural land to the urban land will be exempted. There is judgment of Punjab and Haryana High Court in case of Sardar Hoshnak Singh, and there is judgment of CIT versus Gurcharan Singh, Punjab and Haryana High Court, 292 ITR 387, Punjab and Haryana. In these cases, they have told that any amount which has arisen as a capital gain or gain before conversion of this asset to the capital asset, any amount arisen before that will be exempted, and any capital gain arisen after conversion of this capital asset will be only liable for capital gains.
सर ये पंजाब हरियाणा हाई कोर्ट की ही है सिर्फ?
हाँ सर, यही जजमेंट,
क्योंकि इससे तो जितनी अर्बनाइजेशन है सभी लैंड ही मतलब अल्टीमेटली तो रूरल लैंड ही कन्वर्ट हुई है ना उसमें.
But these high court judgment are there, so I have referred it. I think otherwise there would be some more judgments also on this issue of other high courts also, and this can be inferred from this that in the year 2018, the earlier to 2018, sale of equity shares which have borne the security transaction tax were exempted from capital gain under Section 10, Clause 38. So they have held that you will be allowed grandfathering. So any gain arisen before 2018 was exempted. So similar grandfathering we can apply here. So now law is also in our favor. So there is no such major amendment in the new income tax bill also. So in any such case, if the asset was earlier not a capital asset, but due to any force of law, the asset has become capital asset, we can go for grandfathering, and we may have to face either some ITAT or High Court also. Possessory right. Possessory right of any property was out of purview of the income tax earlier to assessment year 2024-25. But from the assessment year 2024-25, they have made one amendment, because earlier to assessment year 2024-25. During last so many years, every year government in the income tax, some of the asset used to be treated as intangible asset, used to be treated, specified that its cost of acquisition will be treated as nil. So in the 1995, tenancy right was exempt out of purview of the income tax because cost of acquisition was not specified in the section 55. So in the 1995, in the Income Tax Act, it was specified that cost of acquisition of tenancy right will be deemed to be nil. So after that, the cost of acquisition of tenancy right was taken to be nil, and whatsoever amount is received, that will be treated as a long-term capital gain. Or in the year 2018, goodwill of a profession. Goodwill of profession was earlier out of purview of the Income Tax Act because under the Income Tax Act, it was under section 55, it was mentioned that goodwill of a business, cost of acquisition of goodwill of a business will be deemed to be nil. But under this provision, it was not mentioned that cost of acquisition of goodwill of profession will be deemed to be nil. So in the year 2018, it was also mentioned that cost of acquisition of goodwill of business or profession will be deemed to be nil. So thereafter, goodwill of a profession also become taxable and cost of acquisition was to be taken to be nil. So possessory right was not there in the mention. So if any person has done encroachment, say for any example, is the very highly valuable property has been encroached by some person, and whenever the landowner wanted to evacuate him, the person who has done the encroachment, he asked for an amount of rupees 1 crore. That kindly give me 1 crore, then only I will vacate this property. So the 1 crore received by him was out of purview of the income tax. There is a judgment of CIT versus Appu Kutti 2001, 171 CTR Karnataka, Kerala 145, and 2002 253 ITR 159 Kerala. In this judgment, and there are so many judgments also regarding possessory rights, that any amount received towards possessory right was out of purview of the income tax because under section 55, its cost of acquisition is to be taken to be nil. It is a intangible asset. So its cost of acquisition will be taken to be nil was not mentioned in the provision. So in the year 2024-25, they have removed all ambiguities and they have mentioned that the cost of acquisition of all intangible asset which you have not purchased will be deemed to be nil. So now onwards, whatsoever any intangible asset, its cost of acquisition will be deemed to be nil. And similar provision is there under the clause 90 of the new income tax bill. So any of the intangible asset which you have not purchased, its cost of acquisition is deemed to be nil. So you will be liable for capital gain tax. Then another provision is section 50.
But the person who is paying it, जिसने पे किया उसके लिए तो
cost of
में
acquisition
ऐड हो जाएगी.
He will, is cost of improvement. It will
कॉस्ट ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट में आ जाएगी ना.
Cost of
तो बट
improvement.
इसको तो हम कैश भी पे कर सकते हैं. ये तो 269 एसएसआर टी में नहीं आएगी ना.
No, it will be covered. But
नहीं,
269 ST में covered. It will be covered under 269 ST.
बट उसमें ट्रांसफर कहाँ है? उसमें
It
तो
is
ये
not
तो
immobile property, and the court may say that it is towards immobile property. However,
Okay.
you have not transferred the property, but it is on account of possession of immobile property, or if it is not covered under 269 SS, but it will certainly go into 269 ST.
बैक डेटिंग में कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
So section 50C is the depreciable asset. Any amount received towards the sale of depreciable asset, if the block of, there are two conditions. The block of asset has been nil, all the assets in the block have been transferred. And another condition, some of the asset in the block has been transferred, but some of the asset are there, but there is capital gain. So earlier to this income tax bill, there is some very typical amendment in this new income tax bill under this new clause 74 of the new income tax bill, and the earlier provision was under section 50C of the Income Tax Act. So section 50 says that any capital gain arising out of depreciable asset will be treated as a capital gain arising out of transfer of a short-term capital asset. So there was a judgment of CIT versus Assam Petroleum 2003, 262 ITR 587 Guwahati High Court. In this judgment, Guwahati High Court has held that if you have sold a land or building or factory building, so any amount arising out of this is a long-term capital gain, because Guwahati High Court has held that Section 50C is for the method of computing the capital gain and not about determining nature of capital gain. So Section 50 nowhere says that gain arising from depreciable asset shall be treated as a short-term capital gain, because under the present provision of Section 50, even if the asset in block are nil, all the asset in the block are sold, or some of the asset in the block are sold, but there is capital gain under Section 50. So Section 50 says that capital gain arising out of short-term capital asset will be treated as a capital gain. Any gain arising out of sale of depreciable asset will be treated as a capital gain arising out of transfer of short-term capital asset. So it is mentioning only capital gain. It does not say it will be treated as a short-term capital gain. It does not say it will be treated as a long-term capital gain. However, in the definition part of the Income Tax Bill and Income Tax Act, short-term capital gain means any gain arising out of sale of short-term capital asset. But under this provision of Section 50, it is mentioned only capital gain. It does not say short-term capital gain. So Guwahati High Court told that here under 50 only word mentioned is capital gain. But there has entered into some anomaly in the new income tax bill. Under the new clause 74 of new income tax bill, they have made some differentiation either due to oversight. It says that if the block of asset is there, then it will be capital gain arising out of short-term capital asset. So old provision has been continued if block is there. Some of the asset in the block are there. But if there is no asset in the block as per the new income tax bill sections, clause 74 subsection 3, new clause 74 subsection 3, it says that if there is no asset in the block, then any gain will be treated as a short-term capital gain arising out of short-term capital asset. So you will see under section 74 subsection 2 and 74 subsection 3. 74 subsection 2 says it will be capital gain out of short-term capital asset. Whereas 74.3 says it will be short-term capital gain out of short-term capital asset. So the judgment of Guwahati High Court, I think, will not be applicable if any of the block is not there. If block is there, Guwahati High Court judgment will be applicable under the new clause 74 of the income tax bill. And there is Bombay High Court judgment also. CIT versus S Builders Private Limited, 144 Taxman 855 Bombay High Court. In this case also Bombay High Court held deeming fiction of section 50 does not state that deeming provision of section 50 are not only restricted to 48 and 49, but the provisions of section 50 are only restricted to 48 and 49. So it does not extend to 54 EC. Or it does not extend to 54F. But now under section 54 EC, under the new income tax bill also, again, there has been some change. Under 54 EC, earlier there was provision that capital gain arising out of long-term capital asset. But now under this new income tax bill, for the purpose of 54 EC, they have mentioned that long-term capital gain. So there will also be some problem in the new 54 EC. So depreciable asset, in my opinion, will have to be treated as a short-term capital gain, not as a long-term capital gain. And no 54 EC or 54F similar exemption will be available. Then compulsory acquisition of immovable property. There is RFCT LAR Act, as we all are known. So as per RFCT LAR Act, section 96 of RFCT LAR Act says that if the assessee receives any compulsory acquisition amount due to acquisition under RFCT LAR Act, then it will be out of purview of the income tax as per section 96. But RFCT LAR Act provision is relaxation is neither there in the old Income Tax Act and new Income Tax Bill also. There is no mention of this thing in the new Income Tax Bill also. So there may be some future in either amendment regarding this RFCT LAR, because in the new Income Tax Bill at least there should have been some relaxation that any amount received from RFCT LAR compulsory acquisition should be out of purview of income tax.
But should be included in the exemption exempt income also, sir.
Yes.
It should be included in the exempt income.
Yes, it should be in the covered in the exempted income, but under Income Tax Act there is no provision.
But I think this should be suggestion from your
yes,
side.
we can give suggestion so that there will be no any anomaly or no litigation. Because under 194 LA, there is a reference of CBDT circular that as per this CBDT circular, if compensation is under RFCT LAR, no TDS should be there. But they have not mentioned under any exempted provision that it should be exempt from income tax. So one or two small things I would like to now discuss. One thing, say under section 54F, there is a condition that the assessee should not own more than one residential house on the sale date of sale of the original asset, and he can purchase another residential house, but he should not own more than one residential house on the date of sale of the property. So there is a judgment of ITAT Mumbai in the case of Abdul Rahim Suleiman Ghaswala, Mumbai, versus DCIT ITA 3177 Mumbai, 2023, assessment year 1617, dated 1st January 2024. And there is again one judgment of Madras High Court in case of Dr. P.K. Vasanti Rangarajan versus CIT 2012, 252 CTR 0336. In this judgment, they have told that assessee can own more than one residential house if it is in joint ownership. Say, for example, in this case, the assessee had 6 residential property. But all these 6 residential property were jointly co-owned by 6 brothers. So each one had only 1/6 right. So before the assessing officer, before the appellate authority, the assessee told that section 54 says that the assessee should not own more than one house. He told, I do not have any house of one, which is one. Because one is different and 1/6 is different. So he told, I have no complete house in my own name. I have everywhere joint ownership. So I am not complete owner of single house. So High Court and ITAT told that if the house property is joint ownership, then it will not be considered, it will not be treated as one house. So assessee can own more than one house if it is joint ownership. But this is judgment of High Court. This is not clearly mentioned in the law, and nothing is restricted in the new income tax bill also. So assessee can follow the judgment of High Court in subsequent year in the income tax bill also. But this will be subject to again litigation. So I think, sir, these were some of the discussion regarding capital gains. And so now I hand over the mic to Ashwini ji. And one thing, sir, one small thing I would like to mention here. Even in the new income tax bill, for the purpose of deciding whether the land is rural or urban, we have to see the population of that village. So population is 10,000, 1 lakh and 10 lakh. So which year population has to be taken? The census which have been announced, which have been notified before the year, just before the year in which the property is sold. So say, for example, the property is sold in the financial year 2026-27. And if the population census has not been announced in financial year 2025-26, then population census of earlier notified census is only in the year 2011. So population census of 2011 will have to be taken even in the financial year 2026-26-7 in the new income tax bill. So now I hand over mic to Ashwini ji.
हाँ जी सर, अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो मतलब ऑडियंस से हम पूछ सकते हैं।
यस सर।
हाँ जी, प्लीज।
नमस्कार सर। नमस्कार सर।
यस सर, बताइए। हाँ,
मैंने
हाँ जी,
क्वेश्चन टाइप करके भेजा है, बड़ा सिंपल सा है कि कैपिटल गेन टैक्स रेट 12.5% अगर हम अवेल करते हैं तो हमारा कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन में इंडेक्सेशन इज नॉट अलाउड,
यस यस,
एंड इफ वी अवेल 20% देन इंडेक्सेशन इज अलाउड।
हाँ
इसी को आगे हम कोरिलेट करना चाहते हैं सेक्शन 54 के इन्वेस्टमेंट से या 54 ईसी के इन्वेस्टमेंट से। 54 में जो हम इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे,
यस,
the amount of capital gain to be invested has to be calculated after indexation or not,
तो
और मतलब अब
आप दोनों पर्पज से, विद इंडेक्सेशन विदाउट इंडेक्सेशन, दोनों से कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए। दोनों में आपका कितना एग्जेम्पशन यू वांट्स टू मेक वो भी आप देख लीजिए। उसके बाद जिस सिस्टम में आपको टैक्स कम लगता है, यू कैन ऑप्ट फॉर दैट सिस्टम।
okay for 54 EC as well as 54 as well as 54
हाँ,
F।
यस, सो बोथ ऑप्शन यू कैन ऑप्ट,
ये
whichever
नए
is
में भी प्रोविजन
beneficial
है ना
you can
मेहता
opt,
जी?
and this is available only to the individual and HUF।
मेहता जी, ये नए में भी तो प्रोविजन है ना?
हाँ,
है
नए
मेहता
में
जी?
प्रोविजन है ना सर। यस, ये मैंने बोला ना कि नए में भी दिस प्रोविजन इज देयर इन द न्यू ऑल्सो।
ओके सर।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
एक क्वेश्चन मैंने यहाँ चैट बॉक्स में देखा कि 56(2)(10) में रूरल एग्रीकल्चर लैंड का कोई केस लॉ उन्होंने मांगा है। तो देयर इज ए जजमेंट ऑफ ITAT जयपुर, उसमें उन्होंने ITO वर्सेस त्रिलोकचंद सेन का जजमेंट है। उसमें उन्होंने कहा है कि 56(2) अर्लियर वो सेक्शन था 56(2)(7)(b) दैट इज एप्लीकेबल टू द रूरल एग्रीकल्चर लैंड। फिर ITAT पुणे का भी एक जजमेंट है, मुबारक गफूर कोराबू। उस जजमेंट में भी उन्होंने कहा है कि रूरल एग्रीकल्चर लैंड के ऊपर सेक्शन 56(2) लागू नहीं होगा। 56(2) फिर ITAT जयपुर ने वापस फेवर में जजमेंट दे दिया एक। वो जजमेंट उन्होंने 8 जून 2020 को दिया जयपुर में फेवर में। वो था प्रेमचंद जैन वर्सेस ACIT ITA नंबर 98 जयपुर 2019। उसमें उन्होंने कहा है कि सेक्शन 56(2) इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू द रूरल एग्रीकल्चर लैंड if it is purchased less than stamp duty value. So ITAT judgments are in favor of the assessee. Because 56(2) में उन्होंने डेफिनेशन दी कैपिटल एसेट की, इमोबल प्रॉपर्टी। तो उन्होंने लिखा है कि द कैपिटल एसेट इज फॉलोइंग कैपिटल एसेट। तो फॉलोइंग कैपिटल एसेट में लिखा इमोबल प्रॉपर्टी, तो अगर वो कैपिटल एसेट है ही नहीं तो दैट इज आउट ऑफ 56(2).
संदीप बदवा जी, हाँ जी सर, क्वेश्चन पूछिए जी।
गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल।
हाँ जी, गुड
सर
इवनिंग
मैंने
सर।
एक क्वेश्चन अपना भेजा है, वैसे तो अपना Q&A में। मेरा एक ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम के अंदर कुछ अगर लॉसेस पड़े हुए हैं तो न्यू टैक्स रिजीम में वो अलाउड होंगे, और अपना न्यू बिल के अंदर भी अलाउड होंगे या नहीं?
मिलेंगे ना, ऑल लॉसेस तो आपको मिलेंगे। ओनली
वी कैन क्लेम
डेप्रिसिएशन,
दैट?
एडिशनल डेप्रिसिएशन के कारण से अगर कोई लॉस है तो वो नहीं मिलेगा आपको।
नहीं, कैपिटल लॉस वाला, कैपिटल गेन का लॉस है,
कैपिटल लॉस भी कैपिटल उसमें सेट ऑफ होगा, दैट कैन
वो
ऑल्सो
मिल
बी
जाएगा?
सेट ऑफ। हाँ
वो
हाँ,
तो एज इट इज ही आएगा सर, उसमें थोड़ी कोई दिक्कत आनी है।
नहीं, मैंने कहा कोई टैक्स में रूल में कोई चेंज तो नहीं है ना?
नहीं नहीं नहीं, उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं आएगी सर।
ठीक है, ठीक है, थैंक यू।
सर मैं जीवन खन्ना बोल रहा हूँ जी।
हाँ जी,
जीवन खन्ना।
हाँ जी, करना जी।
सर इन केस ऑफ जॉइंट
हाँ
डेवलपमेंट
जी,
एग्रीमेंट,
हाँ जी सर।
व्हाट जॉइंट डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट,
यस,
what will be the cost of acquisition of land developer? Whether it will be a business income or a capital gain to him also.
In my opinion, it is a capital gain because the landowner is not doing the business. Business means he is regularly purchasing the property, regularly selling this. So, however, this is subject to litigation. But if he has only one property and he has handed over to the developer, so he is not doing business. Business is being done by the developer. So he is only one property.
I am talking about land developer. It will be a business income for developer.
Sir, developer is by default a business. How he can use the capital gain? Developer is by default business income.
If you already said it is a disputed, if he is
no. Regarding landowner, if sometimes many times
landowner, I am talking about the landowner. If he is also doing in the routine case, he is buying the property and giving it to the land developer as a joint.
If he is doing business, then it will be out of purview of 45(5)(a) itself, because 45(5)(a) is applicable to capital asset.
If they are giving some consideration, then it's okay.
Yes.
If it is by the way of share of profit, then it will be a business income, of course.
हाँ जी सर, रोहित जी आप भी अपना बता दीजिए टाइम, आज अनाउंस कर दें या बाद में डिस्कस करें?
नहीं सर, ऐसा कर लेते हैं 22 के बाद रख लो, मैंने ना बाहर जाना है बीच में।
ठीक है जी।
तो वो चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट पे भी रख सकते हैं, किसी पे भी रख सकते हैं, कोई दिक्कत
नहीं। चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट पे रख लेते हैं, तो चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट पे ना 22 के बाद रख लेते हैं।
डन सर। और सर बीच में मैं बस एक और बात सर से करना चाह रहा था, राजेश जी से। पहले क्या होता था सर, जो शेयर्स और जो LIC की पॉलिसीज जिसमें 5 लाख और यूनिट्स ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड 2,50,000 एक की इनकम जाती थी, टैक्सेबल होती थी इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेस, और एक की होती थी इनकम फ्रॉम कैपिटल गेन्स। नाउ अंडर द अमेंडेड प्रोविजंस, उसमें क्या थोड़ा सा बताएंगे, दोनों में क्या आया, कोई डिफरेंस आया नहीं आया?
उन्होंने केवल टेक्निकल एरर उस लॉ में रह गई थी कि उसको कैपिटल एसेट माना जाएगा, तो अब उन्होंने उसको क्लियर कह दिया कि नाउ इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज ए कैपिटल एसेट। तो जो नया सेक्शन 67 है, मतलब इस फाइनेंस बिल में भी अमेंडमेंट हुआ। फाइनेंस बिल 2025 जो पेश किया उन्होंने, उसमें भी उन्होंने इसमें अमेंडमेंट किया। और जो इनकम टैक्स का नया जो सेक्शन है, सेक्शन 67, उसके अंदर 67 जो क्लॉज 67 है, उसका सब क्लॉज 5 सबसेक्शन 5
कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग 56 में भी अमेंडमेंट करनी जरूरी थी ना, 56 to 13 जो भी सेक्शन था रेलेवेंट, बिकॉज़
वहां जो ओनली रिलेवेंट पोर्शन विल बी ट्रीटेड एज इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्स, तो वहां तो ऑलरेडी लिखा था। बट जो कैपिटल गेन है उसमें उन्होंने इनकम की डेफिनेशन में उसको नहीं कवर किया हुआ था, तो इनकम की डेफिनेशन में भी उन्होंने बता दिया कि इसके थ्रू जो कैपिटल एसेट से जो भी होगा दैट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज ए कैपिटल गेन। सो माइनर अमेंडमेंट इज देयर, सो इट वाज आई लाइक ड्राफ्टिंग एरर। तो फाइनेंस बिल 25 में सुधारा उन्होंने इसको, और सेक्शन 67 जो नया इनकम टैक्स बिल का, उसमें भी उन्होंने एज इट इज दे हैव मेंशन अंडर सबसेक्शन 5 ऑफ 67।
सर एक क्वेश्चन आया है चैट बॉक्स में, इफ लैंड परचेज्ड विद जॉइंट नेम ऑफ ब्रदर, होल पेमेंट वाज मेड बाय वन ब्रदर, असेसमेंट मेड इन द नेम ऑफ ब्रदर हु हैज नॉट पेड एनी अमाउंट बाय एडिंग हिज शेयर, वेदर ही इज करेक्ट? असेसी के फेवर उसके ईओ की तरफ से कि वेदर ईओ इज करेक्ट।
सर पहले तो वी विल हैव टू सी इन द सेल डीड। सेल डीड में देखना पड़ेगा कि अगर उसका नाम केवल नाम ही नेम लेंडर, ही इज ओनली द नेम लेंडर, एक्चुअल अमाउंट हैज बीन इन्वेस्टेड बाय द सिंगल पर्सन, तो फिर उसका कुछ भी नहीं, ही इज ओनली द नेम लेंडर, देन ही इज नॉट लायबल फॉर एनी एसेट और कैपिटल गेन, बिकॉज ऑनर वही होगा जिसने मनी इन्वेस्ट की है। लाइक मिलिट्री के अंदर होता है ना, मिलिट्री में कई सारे मिलिट्री में ये कंपलसरी होता है कि जब भी जेंट्स एनी पर्सन इज परचेसिंग द प्रॉपर्टी, ही इज कंपल्सरीली रिक्वायर्ड टू एड द नेम ऑफ हिज स्पाउस, बट स्पाउस इज जनरली नॉट इन्वेस्टिंग एनी मनी, so spouse will not be liable for capital gain also. Similarly here, if money is not invested, he is not liable for capital gain or so.
तो मेरे ख्याल में सर हमारा फर्स्ट सेशन काफी अच्छा रहा। जितने भी हमारे पैनलिस्ट हैं, जितने भी हमारे अटेंडी हैं, मैं सबका तहे दिल से आई एम थैंकफुल टू ऑल ऑफ देम कि उन्होंने इतने बिग नंबर में हमें ज्वाइन किया और हमने इसका आगाज किया जो बिल वाइज है। हालांकि अभी मेंबरों का जैसे जीएसटी में लोग एकदम मतलब पैनिक हो गए थे कि पता नहीं क्या आ गया, क्योंकि वो नया एक्ट था। वो सर्विस टैक्स में और एक्साइज लॉ में और वैट में हमारे लोग प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते थे, इस वजह से जीएसटी ऑल टुगेदर न्यू अपॉर्चुनिटी थी। इसमें अपॉर्चुनिटीज आएंगी बाई वे ऑफ कि जैसे सेक्शन बदल जाएंगे और नए जो, जैसे ही अपने गिरीशु जी ने उस दिन बोला था कि जैसे नए जो हमारे मेंबर हैं वो नए सेक्शन पढ़ के आएंगे तो उनको जरा ज्यादा कॉन्फिडेंस रहेगा इसमें प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए। लेकिन जैसे मेहता जी ने आज बहुत चीजें बताई हैं जो उन्होंने अनोमलीज पुराने एक्ट में थी वो नए एक्ट में भी दूर नहीं की है। जहां जो अमेंडमेंटें हम हर बार उनको लिखते हैं कि ये होनी चाहिए, चाहे 115 बीबी की है या और क्लैरिफिकेशन है, तो सिर्फ लैंग्वेज। और इसमें मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा आने वाली फैकल्टीज को भी और मेहता जी को भी कि ये जरूर देखें कि जो लैंग्वेज जिन्होंने सिंप्लीफाई की है उसके कारण असेसी को कहीं नुकसान तो नहीं हुआ कि उन्होंने अपनी, जैसे मैं एक सेक्शन पढ़ रहा था, मेरा एक 263 में केस भी चल रहा है, उसमें जैसे 80 डबल जे डबल ए में और सॉरी 36 क्लोज 17A D उसमें एनबीएफसी के लिए प्रोविजन फॉर बैड एंड डाउटफुल डेट्स में इट इज वेरी मच क्लियर कि जो वो प्रोविजन है बिफोर अलाउइंग एनी डिडक्शन अंडर दिस क्लोज एज वेल एज अंडर चैप्टर 6 उसकी कैलकुलेशन होनी है। लेकिन ऑडिट टीम ने क्या किया, उसको लेस किए बिना कैलकुलेशन बना के 7 लाख का डिफरेंस निकाल दिया, 5-7 लाख का हमारे एसएससी के केस में। तो उसमें क्या है कि वो एक्ट में ही क्लियर है। तो अगर ऐसी चीज को हम सिंपल करके लिख देंगे कि बिफोर अलाउइंग एनी अदर डिडक्शन, तो इन्होंने तो क्लेश डालना ही है कि जी इस वाली डिडक्शन लेस करके मिलनी है। वो डिडक्शन की बात कर रहा है चैप्टर 6A की ओनली। तो मतलब ये भी हमने एक कंपेयर करके सर जरूर देख रहा है कि लैंग्वेज इजी करने के चक्कर में कहीं नया पंगा तो नहीं डाल दिया एसएससी के फेवर में। जो हमारे फेवरेबल चीजें थी लैंग्वेज इजी करने के चक्कर में उसमें नई अनोमली ना आ गई हो। और ज्यादा लैंग्वेज इजी करते करते मेरे को लगता है जो लिटिगेशन वाले हैं उनकी दुकान चलेगी, तो इसमें और इंटरप्रिटेशन इश्यूज आएंगे। क्यों मेहता जी, ऐसा ही है कुछ?
अब देखते हैं सर, अभी स्टडी रोज जारी है। सो लेट अस एवरी डे चेक व्हाट आर द एनोमलीज, व्हाट आर द मिस्टेक्स, व्हाट आर द फेवरेबल एंड व्हाट आर अनफेवरेबल थिंग्स।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, चलो थैंक यू वेरी मच सर, थैंक यू फॉर द
अश्विनी सर,
नाइस
एक और बात
कैलिब्रेशन।
बताना चाह रहा हूँ जो अभी आया ना कि भी आपको 87A लॉन्ग टर्म में नहीं मिलनी और 111A में नहीं मिलनी। अब एसएससी क्या कर रहे हैं कि दे आर शिफ्टिंग टू बिजनेस इनकम। जैसे ही बिजनेस में जाएंगे वो मिल
12
जाएगी,
लाख तक है, यस
12 लाख की एग्जम्पशन आ जाएगी।
बिल्कुल।
जस्ट फॉर शेयरिंग फॉर द नॉलेज।
बट सर रोहित जी इसमें एक इशू और आ जाएगा, देखो ना,
हाँ
जैसे जो हमारे रूटीन वाले क्लाइंट F&O को काम करते हैं ना, तो
हाँ।
बीच में उन्होंने डे ट्रेडिंग कर ली, मान लो कोई शेयर होल्ड भी कर लिया 5 दिन, तो
हम्म
मैं तो ऑन ए सेफर साइड उनकी जो इनकम कैपिटल गेन्स उसमें आती है ना शीट में, उतनी अमाउंट को निकाल के शॉर्ट टर्म लॉन्ग टर्म में ले जाता हूँ। उसका कारण क्या है कि जो आपका 26AS और AIS है, AIS और TIS में वो शॉर्ट टर्म लॉन्ग टर्म में आती है। अगर आप शॉर्ट टर्म लॉन्ग टर्म में कुछ भी नहीं दिखाओगे तो उससे होगा क्या कि वो आपकी ना उधर से नोटिस आ जाएगा कि जी आपने इनकम नहीं दिखाई। आपने तो दिखा दी बिजनेस इनकम में, लेकिन बिजनेस इनकम कहीं मैप नहीं होती
चलो सर,
AIS में।
आपको एक और टिप देता हूँ, बेचने से पहले उसको
हाँ जी,
ऑफलाइन बेच दो।
हाँ जी,
ऐसे ही ऑफलाइन बेचोगे, ऑनलाइन ना बेचो डीमैट में।
हाँ जी।
ऑफलाइन ट्रांसफर करा दो किसी मेंबर के अकाउंट में अपने। ठीक है जी, वो आप 111A से बाहर आ जाएंगे, 112A से बाहर आ जाएंगे बेचने से पहले। फिर आपकी वो क्या हो जाएगी, वो लॉन्ग टर्म स्पेशल रेट में नहीं जाएगी। दीज आर दी वेरियस टूल्स विच आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट कि जिससे हम 87 एक जो 87 वाला है उसका बेनिफिट 12 लाख का एंजॉय कर सकते हैं फॉर द नेक्स्ट ईयर।
हाँ नेचुरली नेचुरली, मैं कहा वो इस वजह से लोग फंस जाते हैं ना, AIS में आई होती है तो उनका
हाँ
नोटिस आना ही आना है कि आपने दिखाई नहीं।
हाँ हाँ। ठीक है सर, ठीक।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर, थैंक यू। वी विल मीट अगेन
थैंक्स
वेरी
टू
सून।
थैंक यू।
8th को तो डेफिनेटली वी विल मीट, कि जैसे ही मेरा कोई प्रोग्राम फाइनल होता है इधर स्मृति ईरानी जी के साथ, जहां मैंने और एक पंजाब गवर्नमेंट में भी बोला है 1-2 मिनिस्ट्री लेवल पे कि जो वुमेन डे पे कोई हमें मिनिस्टर मिल सके तो हम उनके साथ इंटरेक्शन करवाएंगे अपने मेंबर वुमेन मेंबर्स की, रादर सभी मेंबरों की। वुमेन मेंबर्स को वी विल मेक ए पैनलिस्ट फॉर द इंटरेक्शन। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।